This is Kerrace Alexander with DeepTruth Media. If you're new to the awareness model, I really encourage you to go to the beginning of the awareness model playlist and at your leisure, listen to the audios. And if you feel so inclined, I encourage you to read the attaching articles in the description. I also encourage everyone to subscribe to the blog, The Awareness Model, Deconstructing Consciousness, because I do post there before I actually post in the YouTube videos. The current article that I'm going to be sharing with you was posted a week ago, and I'm just doing the audio now. If you want to stay abreast of what's going on in terms of the unfoldment of the awareness model, I really encourage you to subscribe to the blog and pass this information on to those that you feel that might be interested in learning more about deconstructing consciousness. The awareness model. The awareness model is an idea, a concept I created in order to come to some logical conclusions, in order to help us unlock more important, deeper truths, in order to gain more knowledge. Although knowledge, we must understand, is the technology that has seduced us into this system of consciousness. However, because of the opportunity that is before us, that is awareness deconstructing consciousness, that is, I am awareness, and I supersede this system of consciousness as awareness. I reside outside of this universe, and I'm looking from the context of awareness outside this universe and dissecting this system of consciousness. Very interesting process, and I'm sharing my process with you. This system of consciousness works in a very unique way, and that there is a background frequency of what we could call universal laws or the universal mind, and how it operates our external and visible conditions here on earth. By bringing these unseen causes or unseen forces that create this background frequency in terms of how the system is created, the system of consciousness by the universal architects, into a better order or practical understanding how the system operates and how it works and how it was formed, allows us to make practical working realities of possibilities, which at present may seem to many but fantastic dreams. So if there ever was a goal as awareness, deconstructing consciousness is to understand the underlying principles that govern this system of consciousness and how it operates, and how we are immersed in a program upon which we operate within, that you are propelled to do and be a certain way based on your astrological blueprint. That is where the planets were in the solar system. Upon your birth into this system of consciousness, this astrological blueprint was infused within your being as you took the first breath. So it's this breathing, this in-breath and this out-breath, that is what keeps you alive and thriving in this system of consciousness. So how the universe works is a very important component as we deconstruct consciousness. So I'll be sharing more on the universal laws and principles. But we look at real energy, the G2 cloud, the dark horse nebulae. Remember those concepts that I was explaining to you under DeepTruth Media in the different context of the various events that were unfolding on the physical world stage, such as the 2014 Olympics and news items that came out with regards to the G2 cloud. And I was explaining to you this whole concept of real energy as awareness, looking into the system of consciousness. Real energy, that's an instantaneous energy, is what creates all of this earth system and the universal system that we live in. It's a very, very extremely high frequency, and our planet is moving into a very high frequency area in terms of the galactic center, so we're being told. Because of this movement into these higher frequency energies, we're in a time of revealing. That is a time of coming to a deeper understanding and knowing of who we are as awareness. So the frequencies are higher, and for those of us who have the capability and have prepared ourselves, that is doing that inner excavation work, doing the internal cleansing of these chakra systems so that you can allow more of this higher frequency energy to flow through you, will allow you to have a different experience. So magnetism. Magnetism is this real energy, the G2 cloud, the dark horse nebulae. These are all concepts that I've explained. You can go to my YouTube channel and under DeepTruth Media and find a number of YouTube sharings in which I shared all these concepts since the beginning of the year 2014 in various contexts. But now I'm bringing it all together in this grand mutation in 2020 that's happening, and then there's another scenario happening in 2027. There are just so many ways in which you can be seduced into this information, this data, this internet. This internet acts as this subconscious mind, your subconscious mind, but it's an artificial subconscious mind. And the power control force would hope that you continuously use the internet for your information, your knowledge, so that they can create all their algorithms and get a good feeling on who's waking up and who isn't, what people are paying attention to, and then design their narratives and stories around where the majority of humanity is moving. They can track consciousness through the internet and how it's evolving and growing. And then through your cell phone, your cellular phone, that umbilical cord, your fifth limb that so many are using. I don't use cell phones, but so many are using that fifth limb that is the link to your subconscious mind. Fascinating how they give out all this technology and humanity just eats it up. It's just amazing. It truly is an amazing time. So magnetism, as I shared in my last audio, is a real key here. Magnetism. That's when we are in balance, when we are in equilibrium. That is the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and we're oscillating at our highest frequency, our core frequency, which is our energy signature, which is your awareness, that tuning into the awareness that you are. And as I mentioned before, awareness is malleable, is childlike, vulnerable. All you have to do is look at a newborn baby. That's awareness in its purest form. That's you, your awareness. It hasn't gone away. It's just that it's obscured from you. That pureness, that essence of a childlike nature, the innocence, that is you. As some of you have experienced in the awareness experience that I share here and will continue to do, we just rest. We're resting in a constant state of paradise, but even that state of paradise is a construct within this system of consciousness. Awareness supersedes any language, any concepts of anything. It's when we step down into this universe, this system of consciousness, and then we step down into this earth system through our astrological blueprint, we become more and more immersed in this reality of third dimension. But it has nothing to do with awareness. Awareness is no thing. It's nothing. But as soon as you take on all your characters that you play, you know, the aunt, the mother, the sister, the brother, the nephew. When you take in all those roles in your work and your friends, and all those characters that you play, and you identify with your story, then you become immersed in the reality of this system of consciousness, ever forgetting who and what you are as awareness. And so most of humanity does not know who and what it is. And if you do not know who and what you are, well, you're at a disadvantage to those that presume to run this world, the power control force, because they know who you are. They know awareness and its malleableness, its vulnerableness, its childlike nature, its ability to create, its power and force to create instantaneously. The power control force know awareness inside out, and yet, because of their genetic makeup, the power control force, those that presume to run this world, they do not hold same genetic imprinting that you do, in that you have the creative potential. They, on the other hand, have a genetic imprint in which they don't have that creative capacity. And that's by design. Because if they had the creative capacity, they could not do what it is that they're doing on this physical plane. And so their genetic imprint or coding does not allow for them to have the creative potential. Again, it's by design. They don't have any empathy. They don't have the capacity for love, deep love that you do as awareness. They do not have the capacity to create. And so they use your awareness and my awareness in order to create this system of consciousness. So the title of this post is Awareness Deconstructing the Universal Mind of Consciousness Through Occultism While Awakening the Will and Power of Awareness, and answering the question, how did awareness become captured in this system of consciousness? I posted a link in the description. You can read this article at your leisure. So in this system of consciousness, it is the dominant consciousness that always controls the creations of this universe. We do not have to look any further further than our current environment to see what consciousness is dominating. However, that is only because the power control force understand the laws of the universe and how the universe was created. Therefore, we deconstruct consciousness so that we learn the laws of the universe, so that we are no longer victims of our circumstance in this system of consciousness, and we reclaim the power and our creative potential of awareness, which is the ultimate reality, in order to position our awareness to dominate this system of consciousness. This is the ultimate experiment as we engage in the deconstruction of consciousness. As I mentioned, all things human are fading away, this disintegration of this system of consciousness, the dismantling of her, the womb, the matrix, this artificial subconscious mind off of you. Awareness, the totality of the awareness that you are, so that you can straddle. You can be as awareness, experiencing the totality of your awareness state as nothing, and also be in this system of consciousness, knowing full and well how the system operates, how it functions, and how you can function in it in order to thrive. Not survive, thrive. Because as awareness and the power control force know, you are to live in a state of opulence. That you live in a paradise state. They know this about your awareness. This is why they live in a state of opulence themselves, to mirror your awareness. And they keep you in servitude, in slavery, in the system of consciousness, having you value your servitude and slavery so that you give this system value. But as awareness, you are grand. You are an architect. You are magnificent. Your essence as awareness supersedes this human existence, these characters that you are playing on this physical plane that you give so much value to. This is the lowest of you as awareness in physical form. It can't get any lower than this. And so the highest form of who you are is magnificent. You are creator. You are a god, in essence. If you want to look at it from that perspective, you are a creator god. You supersede all forms of manifestation of any worlds. The concept of a world, the concept of a system of consciousness is just that, a concept. These are ideas. And language is a technology that has seduced you into this system. So please come to know the truth of this, that you supersede all of this. That as awareness, you have the ultimate value. That you hold the ultimate value within you as awareness. And that it supersedes anything of this system of consciousness. So as awareness deconstructing consciousness, we are deconstructing the universal science of universal mind designed by the universal architects in order to reveal how awareness was captured into the system of consciousness. Everything in the universe is an unfoldment of universal mind in a nutshell, and occultism is the science of the unfoldment of universal mind. Occultism is the science that teaches the laws under which the universal mind unfoldment takes place, not only upon the objective plane of life, but also upon the subjective plane. Now, according to the power control force, the intellectual system of occultism regards universal mind as the all, and that there is not or cannot be any manifestation outside of the universal mind. However, that is where awareness comes into the picture, as we come to understand that all the universal mind is a manipulation of your awareness, that the universal architects who created this universal mind in order to capture your awareness and my awareness along with their awareness and the creative potential of all the awareness in order to create their own world system based on materialism, all for the purpose of obscuring the natural laws of the universe from you so that you would forget the concept of occultism while forever consumed with materialism, which eventually caused the masses to forget the natural laws of the nature of mind, so that the natural laws of the mind would only be remembered by and through the power control force, and that is when pure occultism really became perverted, and men began to use their powers criminally, as they do today. Those who remembered or practiced occultism put into operation mental and certain other forces which enslaved all of those who had forgotten how to use their own forces, the mind, the thought, and the thought process, again, which are not yours, but you use them to have this experience in this system of consciousness. These forces of the mind, which enslaved all those who had forgotten how to use their own forces or who were not developed to the same point as the power control force, and thus the reason why a few immensely wealthy, powerful, and strong egos rule the majority of the people, and make them their slaves today, and basically why we are in the mess we are in on this physical world stage, living through scripts and narratives designed to manipulate our essence as awareness, forever forgetting our natural state of paradise. As materialism has grown in strength, called the unknown science, but stamped the belief in or the investigation of the subjective side of life as superstition, and most people have become very much afraid of that word, and many are afraid of being known as superstitious, even more than to be known as ignorant. And such persons prefer to remain ignorant of the occult, which the power control force would absolutely love you to forget or not even know about the occult, so they remain lords of your mind, thought process, and thought, which are not yours, but that you use to have your experience in alignment with the truth of who you are as awareness, which is the ultimate reality. That is what you are coming to know the truth of, as we share here in this awareness model, awareness deconstructing consciousness. So occultism, for many, grew to mean that which pertained the subjective, that which pertained the esotericism, and at present it is defined as esotericism. The universal architects, please keep in mind that this is how awareness became captured in the system of consciousness. These architects created the universal matrix womb that mirrors your awareness and mine, and with their awareness created this system of consciousness and split it into two minds, the objective mind and the subjective mind, which is really one mind in the system of consciousness, and brought them into existence through its creative capacity. Now, it's important to remember that both these minds have the power and the potential of creating, and man has two consciousness, which are called the objective mind and the subjective mind. The great trouble, however, is this. The objective mind identifies with the animal experience of humans and has acquired the animal fear. This is the chief characteristic of the animal mind, and it is this mainspring of action. Hence, most of the creations of the objective mind are the product of fear, or are colored by fear, which is why the masses are unconsciously creating through fear. But that is all by design, because the power control force, those that presume to run this world, have kept from the masses the information they need to become conscious creators of their reality. So that is why most of humanity is creating unconsciously today, because they do not understand universal principles or the universal laws that govern this system of consciousness. Understanding the lower nature of man, you understand the nature of evil. Evil is but the creations through ignorance of this objective mind. It is a misdirection of the creative forces. It is the permitting of the unenlightened animal mind to make creation. Well, there are two aspects of the objective and subjective mind, the positive and the negative. In the subjective mind, the negative side is the intellectual and the positive side is the will. But at this period in our history, the intellectual side of our natures is awakened and the will is not. The will is suppressed within humanity. The objective mind also has two aspects, the negative or reasoning side and the positive side or desire. The two aspects in the objective mind are blended to a large extent, and because they are thus united, that mind is strong. Therefore, our first objective as awareness deconstructing consciousness in real time is to awaken the will portion of the force aspect of the subjective mind, in order that the will and the intellect united may control the objective mind. There is force enough in the positive side of the subjective mind to accomplish anything it desires. It is in our interest to awaken this latent but tremendous force ourselves. Some of the things that I'm doing is playing with this magnetic energy, that is this vortex that I'm experiencing through the heart as I'm transcending into higher and higher frequencies. Well, the frequency that I'm holding now is this magnetic frequency, which I believe is the overriding frequency that allows creation to manifest itself in physical form. And so it's this creative force that I'm tapping into as I dismantle her, the womb, this artificial womb, the system of consciousness, as I dismantle this womb, and I just rest in this higher frequency of this magnetic force that is awareness, supersedes any form of energy. Remember this. But I'm using this magnetic force in order to have my physical life experience now, and effortlessly and easily and quickly I'm manifesting into my life, and I'll be sharing more of that. But one of the interesting things that happened to me as I was playing with this magnetic force. So I was sitting out on my deck and I was just playing with this energy and holding this energy. A little hummingbird came into my energy field and hit the window and fell on the deck. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got pulled into my energy field as I was holding this energy. And I've had some very interesting phenomena, but this is one I'm going to share with you. And I thought it had died and it was just lying there on the deck, a little green hummingbird. And so I thought it was dead. I went and got a little shovel and I was going to pick it up and it instantaneous flew away. But for the whole time it was just lying there on the ground because it got caught in my energy field and was whipping around. And I've had some incidences with crows and it's just interesting phenomena, but this is the kind of stuff we're moving into. Real energy, new phenomena, new anomalies. Remember I talked about this with the missing Malaysia flight, that the power control force would start introducing us to new phenomena, anomalies. But what I'm getting is that I'm not engaged with the 3D narratives and scripts. I'm engaging in the anomalies and phenomena that I'm creating for myself as I engage this process of living in my paradise state and attracting the opulence that reflects and mirrors awareness. Because as awareness, I cannot live in servitude to this system of consciousness and no self as awareness. As awareness, I have a responsibility to reflect the awareness that I am and have that mirrored in my experience and existence in the physical plane. And so I must live in a state of opulence. And I do. If you looked at where I live in paradise. And law of opulence, that is not just for those in positions of power to live in a state of opulence. That is your divine right. So we'll be sharing more of that in the near future. Thank you so much for tuning in.